Whatever you do, do from love. You can try everything, but just don't give up. In your world, only you can you do for love what I could not do. You hear me? You hear me? I hope y'all feeling real good. You hear me? I hope y'all feeling real good. Operating, vibrating, emanating, exhilarating, demonstrating the highest frequency and the best version of your current self right here, right now, in the moment that these words find you, or you find these words, whichever one you prefer. But I hope you're feeling good for no reason at all. Right here, right now, in this moment. You hear me? I'm feeling good, you know. That remix, cause y'all know I put my twist on it. When the ancestors speak to me through music, you know, I put my twist on it to speak to it. But it still say what it say, to do what it do. You hear me? I'm feeling good right now. I hope y'all are too. It's a good day. Today is a good day. Before I put a label on what day it is, I want to say today is a good day. You hear me? I'm grateful to have one. If you here, if you're alive, if you're awake, if you're aware, if you're conscious, you know, if you haven't been grateful up until this moment, take a moment to be grateful for this day. You know, cause it ain't had to be given to you. You know, and when I say it ain't had to be given to you, cause you don't have to think to breathe. You hear me? So if you woke up, it was meant for you to be grateful for it. You hear me? Yeah. Since I don't know who I'm talking to on the other side of this video, with the use of these words or whatever words that I may be led to use, I'm gonna make sure y'all know who I am. You hear me? It's an honor to be here. I'm known as Sawu God. You heard? I came to talk today because when we clean house, we gotta go through all the cracks, you know. And when we clean the house, one thing I noticed about when we clean the house, when we're doing inner work, it make us more aware of ourselves. Not only more aware of ourselves, but it make us more aware of our interaction with others. See, and I say that because we don't hear it much. We hear how important it is and to be aware of how we treat people. But we don't hear too much about how we don't treat people. It's just as important. I'm gonna repeat, how we don't treat people is just as important. You see, if not even more important than how we treat people. Good, bad, or indifferent, you know. But they ain't tell us that part. They wanted me to, you know. How we don't treat people is just as important, because, and sometimes not at all. And the reason that I say that because in many of my observations, and I was just having conversations with my peers concerning this, you know, we'll get in the habit of not treating the people well who we should treat well over the people who don't deserve to be treated well and treat them well. So I'm gonna repeat for those who didn't catch it the first time, how we don't treat people is just as important as how we do. You hear me? You ever acted out? Have you ever acted out of place? To be even more specific, have you ever acted out of place? You know, maybe assumed or made your own assumption instead of checking into the facts or prior to the facts being made known to you. Have you ever done that? Have you ever made misjudgments about something or maybe someone? Have you ever done that? Remember, how we don't treat people is important as how we do treat people. You know? Have you ever spoke on something before knowing all the details? You know? Before being made known or aware of all the players involved. You know? And both sides of the whole story, as we say. You know? Have you ever spoke out of place before knowing the whole story? Are you a messy person? Would you consider yourself a messy person? Meaning, do you get involved in things that you ain't got nothing to do with? You know, do you like to spread rumors and gossip and slander? You know, do you gossip? Do you gossip? You know, human beings, human beings, you hear me? Do you gossip about the people you don't know as much as you gossip about the people you do? See, human beings, I know us. Do you gossip? I'm gonna repeat that. Do you gossip about the people you don't know as much as you gossip about the people that you do? You ever thought about what I'm pointing out and how what I'm pointing out may have affected or impacted others the way it may have impacted or affected you? Cause we all been a victim of it. You see, I know human beings. Let me talk to us. Do you steal? Are you a thief? If I left valuables around you, could I be assured upon my return that my valuables would still be in the places that I left them safe? Are you that type of person? Yeah, see, I'm trying to know y'all like y'all get a chance to know me. You hear me? Who am I talking to? You hear me? Are you honest? Are you easily angered? Or hot-headed? Or are you cool, calm, and collected? Would you consider yourself a person of integrity? Are you vindictive? Are you spiteful? Or are you caring and compassionate? Who am I talking to? What type of people say they rocking with me? This is how I find out. You hear me? Yeah. How do you handle uncomfortable situations and circumstances? You know, how do you handle unwanted situations and circumstances? Because y'all know, even though we spiritual beings in this human form having a human experience, things pop up outside our control and beyond our control. At times that we may not want anything to pop up unwanted or uncomfortable at all. You hear me? So how do we handle those situations? How do you handle those situations when they appear? Are you a stand-up individual? Yeah, are you a stand-up individual? Not only when it comes to yourself, but especially when it comes to yourself, but are you a stand-up individual when it comes to the people that you rock with? If I spoke to the people that know you, what do you think they would have to say about your character? See, these the way. See, when I clean house, I go through all the cracks. So, in the way that these questions may feel like it's ripping some of y'all who come across it apart, in the way that it have you looking at yourself, this is the way I rip myself apart. This is the way you do the work. This is the way you get it done. Being brutally honest, going through all the parts. You see? Cause we gotta bring it all up together. Cause it's gonna come up one way or another. It's gonna come up one way or another. And for a lot of us, it's things coming up already that we don't know how to deal with because we don't stuffed it down so long. We don't brushed it under the rug for so long. You hear me? We don't repressed it and pushed it back for so long, you know, and we can't push it back no more, you know. Shit popping up in our dreams, you know. Some of the things that we ain't dealt with don't became some of our demons. You hear me? I know this journey. I know this experience. You hear me? I know this gift called life if we here. You heard? Yeah. And if I'm gonna know you better, it's important that I ask you things for you to know you better. If you don't listen, you gonna miss it. You hear me? If I'm gonna know you better, it's important that I ask you things for you to know you better. And if I'm asking you things for you to know you better, so I can know you better, this is how you need to be asking those around you the same thing. Otherwise, who have you been dealing with? Who have we been dealing with? I rip those that connect with me apart to the way I rip myself apart. You hear me? And in a way that my example for myself affect and impact anything and everything that I come into contact with, whether you want it to or not. Otherwise, the only thing you can do is stay out my perimeter. Cause my frequency gonna do what it do. You hear me? And it's gonna do what they sent me here to do. You heard? The ancestors don't even play. I'm gonna go into a little quick card before I close out. You hear me? Cause I'm being led to. You hear me? How we don't treat people. How we don't treat people. See, it's people that's old just do that ain't got they just do. You hear me? It's people that's old appreciation that ain't been given they just do. It's people that's older a thank you that ain't been given a thank you. You see? How have we treated people despite? How have we treated people despite? I love the synchronicity. Right to your inner child. See why I ask us these type of questions? Because I know what these type of questions bring up, you know, when you present them to yourself. And for the most part, I ain't gonna even count. A lot of people ain't even presented themselves. I know people don't talk to themselves the way that I talk to me. You hear me? That's why I know, I'm gonna say it again, I know people don't talk to themselves the way they talk to me. You hear me? Because the more that I did work, I went from a whole lot of people in my life to just a few of us who were doing that same work that I was doing. You hear me? And that go for family, that go for friends, that go for just associates, you know, that go for anything under the sun. You hear me? And if you here to shine like one, you know, as you burn yourself up, see, because we clean the house, you're gonna have to burn everything up. That's, you know, yeah, and contrary to your design. You hear me? I don't know who I'm talking to, who I'm talking for, but it's but the card say write a letter to your inner child. You hear me? 37 become all born 10 all born knowledge. You hear me? Knowledge cipher. Understanding God, not to knowledge cipher, to knowledge. You hear me? The knowledge is do the knowledge to yourself. Write a letter to yourself. and that letter gonna reveal more about yourself to you. You hear me? For those who caught it, you know, you catching it. And if you listen, you definitely won't miss it. Along this healing journey, it can be helpful to write letters to your inner child. Powerful emotions can be released and expressed through through letter writing, either to your inner child or as your inner child. That was swift. Powerful emotions can be released and expressed through letter writing, either to your inner child or as your inner child. Become your inner child, in other words. If you have pulled this card, it's time to write a letter and listen to your intuition. Simple as that. Simple as that. We ain't doing no awareness exercise. It's simple as that. Because this, I don't know if it's 3P, 4P, or 5P, but once again, I've already spoke to the awareness exercise through the questions. The question that I presented, in this video was the awareness exercise. Everything else said write a letter to it. You hear me? How you gonna know how you feel unless you can see it outside yourself sometimes? Because everything we can't tell everybody till we ready to deal with it with ourselves. So a good way to learn how to deal with what we ain't ready to tell nobody else is write a letter, get a journal. Fellas, get a journal. For the women, they call them diaries. Now I understand the importance. Why when I was growing up, a lot of the girls in my age round had diaries. Now, which going to show you can't tell a woman how they feel. They in touch with them. Fellas, see what we missing. Fellas, see what we missing. You can't tell a woman how they feel because they in touch with them. You hear me? And that's and the masculines and the masculines here to get in touch with that part of themselves. Feelings, emotions, feminine aspect, and balancing. Yin. And for the females, the opposite. You see? Yeah. So we cleaning all the cracks. Clean your house. Watch the video. Place the emoji, which will be a question mark. A question mark. Because the questions are important. See, questions, the type of questions, the type of conversation that we have with ourselves is important, but not as important as the type of questions that we ask ourselves. So whoever that was for, you can thank me later, and I'm gonna repeat it for you. The type of conversations that we have with ourselves are important, but not as important as the questions. So ask ourselves the right kind of questions, even if they're uncomfortable, even if you don't like how they make you feel. See, because the feeling's gonna show you what you gotta walk through. You hear me? And you can do it. I love y'all. Put your question mark in the comment section for your raffle submission. And thanks for the likes, shares, comments, questions. Thank you to those who shared the video. If you haven't hit the like button on your way in, please hit the like button before you exit. I appreciate y'all who you do. Help us grow. So forth and so on. Love. My name is Sawu.